morning. Welcome to Siobhan's Spark Up Kitchen. And who am I, you might ask? Well, I'm Betty. No, just kidding. Of course, I'm Siobhan, and welcome to my kitchen. Welcome to the Spark Up Cooking Show. Hey, Kim, long time no see. Thank you always for supporting me. So my lovely comrade here, Kim Bond, she is an amazing chef, cook, knowledgeable beyond belief. And if you're not part of her group, the Pantry and the Northwest Fitness Academy, Kim, put it all in there, will you? You know, I'm taking cooking, and I am trying to make it really easy. And Kim is educating people. Kim has got more knowledge than I have ever encountered. And I'm telling you, if you are confused these days with how to measure your food, do I do it in macros? Do I do it in grams? Do I do it with a scale? Do I use it with my clothes? Do I use it with calories? Do I use it with my Fitness Pal? Oh my God, I just want to say that Kim can help you figure that out. And that's enough about Kim, because it's all about me. No, I'm just kidding. First of all, oh, that's kind of neat. I was going to talk about the elephant in the room, but my logo here is blocking it. I had too much sun coming in my room, in my kitchen, and the only thing I could really find was the whole Home Depot recycling bag. But I like the way I've done the camera and that you can almost not see it. The logo looks good. Thank you. The Pantry Club is Kim's. Yes, and I've also reorganized myself a little bit, so I'm not on that angle kind of looking over here. I've had this table. Now this is another funny story before I get into it, because what else are you here for besides the storytelling, really? A little bit of cooking on the side. I wanted a way to set up, and I had my camera, so my laptop webcam set up here. I wanted to do the fry pan, and I wanted to do chopping, and I found I was twisting, and I said, God, if only I had a little rolling table that I could put right here. And then I looked over into my dining room, and beneath a stack of salad bowls, beneath a stack of fry pans, various fry pans, and underneath where all the lids were, this is an IKEA wood chopping table, whatever the heck it is, that I've had since 2008. So I've had this in my back pocket, this white wooden table, the whole time, and never used it. So if my introduction didn't prove that I'm a bit of a nut loaf, then stay tuned, because by the end of this 30 minutes-ish, you're going to realize that I'm a nut bar. And what am I doing today? I'm making nut loaf. That's right, as my description said. This is kind of a nut loaf, bean loaf. It's vegan, vegetarian. Well, it's got to be vegetarian if it's vegan, but it is vegan. There's no animal products in this at all. And I did a lot of experimenting with nut loaves, vegetarian loaves, after my husband and I became vegetarian. And we were avid meat eaters. Like, give me the prime rib, give me the turkey, give me the chicken, give me the steak. Not here to talk about animal rights. What I'm here to talk about is a good nut loaf. And I was actually starting to get a little kind of panicky around holidays. Like, Easter was the first one, and we get family togethers. And, you know, it was Easter last year was 2020. But still, what do? People are eating their Christmas dinner. Well, I'm going to bring my loaf. And I'm telling you, not only does it almost cover an appetizer, because get this, this loaf in particular, if you close your eyes, it kind of tastes like stuffing. And when I say that, I really mean it. Like, it's got that kind of texture to it. There is a gravy that goes along with this. I'm not making the gravy today, another vegan gravy. It's a balsamic mushroom gravy. But I'm just doing the loaf. And I'm telling you, bringing your own loaf, if there's one thing, if you're new to, and if you're not new, you probably already know this, if you're gluten-free, if you're vegetarian, if you're vegan, bring something to eat for yourself. Now, you really need to take responsibility here, because sometimes people aren't going to do it for you. They're going to think that you can live on mashed potato. Oh, you're a vegan or a vegetarian? Oh, I just won't give you the meat But here's the potatoes, here's the rice, here's the carrots, and here's the gravy. Kim, you're probably laughing at that. I know you are, because that's exactly right. Where's your protein? Where's your fat, whether it's animal fat or protein fat? Well, animal fat. Well, anyway, I digress. So, what is in my nut loaf? Well, my nut loaf has onion, which I've pre-cut. It's got grated carrot, which I've pre-grated. 2 portobello mushrooms here, which I am going to cut up. And then we've got red kidney beans and lentils. Now, I love lentils. I am head over heels in love with lentils. My husband, not too much, but I managed to disguise it because there's Tamari sauce in here. You can add your own seasonings, and something I forgot to do was herbs. Now it calls for an herb mixture, and somewhere in here I have Italian seasonings, or I'm going to pretend to have Italian seasonings. One moment. This looks like my picture. One moment, please. Talk amongst yourselves. I know I have like a blend that I normally do. Oh, there it is right there. Okay, so I'm going to turn around back to my cutting board. And I'm going to slice and I'm going to dice. So, you know, you can make nut loaf. There are a lot of complicated recipes out there. There really are. And I can understand. I was intimidated by nut loaves and vegetarian loaves when I first came. Like I said, I tried a couple. And this one by far is the easiest because there's no food processor involved. It's cooking up everything in a fry pan and then transferring it to a loaf pan. Now, the only thing is that I'm not going to be able to, because this takes 40 minutes, I will have to jump off and then probably either come back on for a live or just post pictures. Or I'll just do a little video of it because you're going to want to see this when it comes out of the oven for sure. So I'm just slicing my garlic now. And, you know, something you want to be mindful of when you're cutting your vegetables, you might notice, and I learned this, you might notice my fingers are like this. And I'm cutting down alongside my knuckle. I don't have my fingers out like that. I'm not having my fingers splayed out and holding like this and cutting like that. You see what happens there? So my knuckles are turned in and my fingers are resting on top of the garlic, and then the knife is just peeling, cutting right next to it. It's not, the blade is not even going anywhere near my fingers. It's just along my knuckles. And of course, I'm not raising the knife up this high so that it's going to come down and scrape my knuckles like I just did in that demonstration. I'm going to give you another hint about prepping vegetables as well, since we're here. A lot of people are afraid of a bigger knife. Do you want to know how more people get cut? Small knives. A small knife like this. Now you just saw how I had this big knife, bigger blade. You can do a cleaver type thing. These are actually called cutting knives, these big knives. These are called paring knives for a reason. So when you're cutting your garlic like this, and I've got my thing like this, there's a big knife surface there. A big knife surface against a smaller finger surface. So way less surface. What are you saying? Yeah, good to know. So when you've got a little knife, look what happens. Look what happens here with this little knife. You've got a little knife, all of a sudden, look at that ratio of knife to finger. There's more finger than knife now. Kim, you were talking about math. There's more finger than knife. So the chances are, when you're lifting that up, because it's a smaller blade, you are going to have to lift it up higher. And because it's not going to hold everything in place, like the bigger knife has more surface area on the blade, it's holding everything together. Smaller knife, things are going, you don't have any control here. So get used to, try a bigger knife. Yes, substitute what? I guess this is the one problem with having my computer so far away. Substitute space. Oh my God. Okay. Yes, I'll read that later, Kim. Oh, you know what I can do? This is a new chat feature for me. It's StreamYard. So I come over here. Yes, increases injury with small surface space. You got it. You got it. It's a surface space. Okay, kids. So I'm going to turn on my burner now. we're going to get started with this one pot deliciousness. And I'm also going to turn on my oven too. It says 350, so I'm going to do 361. You know, my husband and I never set the oven for what it says. Now, but in hindsight, I'm thinking that with the Nut Loaf, I may want to go back down because I don't want it to dry out. So if anything, I'm going to go to like a 351. And if you're never sure, if there's something, if you ever encounter a recipe and it doesn't have an oven temperature on it, it just says bake in a moderate oven. And I don't know if they do that so much anymore, but what the hell is a moderate oven? I mean, if you are new to cooking, you are not going to know what a moderate oven is. It's 350. It's in that range somewhere. 325 is a little low. I would say 350 to 375. So I'm using Gotta get that word out of my vocabulary. I am using avocado oil. It is really my favorite high heat oil to use. If you watched last week when I was making omelets, I said that I was using avocado oil. The other things that are going in this Nut Loaf, and again, this is sort of a combination of some recipes. I do have a bear following that I'm using from somewhere. I will find out, and it's lentil roast. And I'm just based loosely because it doesn't call for any kinds of nuts or seeds. And what I found with this recipe, is exactly actually what Kim was talking about earlier, was there was no fat in this recipe. There's no, and what you have to look out for when you are a vegan and a vegetarian is getting that fat, because your body still needs fat. You still need to have fat in your body. And vegetables and the nutrients absorb way better. Well, they need fat to absorb into your body. And this is the thing that I noticed about this particular recipe when I started with the bear recipe was that, it doesn't have any fat in it. How am I going to make up for those? I didn't want to make up for those missing calories with more carbs because there's lots of carbs in here. There's beans, there's lentils. There's also oats in here as well, which adds to it. So I decided to add seeds and nuts. This also has portobello mushroom. Now, there is nothing like portobello mushroom as a substitute for meat. There are lots of meat substitutes on the market, which are great. But if you want something really natural, Mother Nature's answer to meat, the texture of a portobello mushroom, I am telling you, there's nothing quite like it. You can grill up this portobello mushroom, make it a mushroom burger. We add it to just about everything. It doesn't even matter if the recipe calls for it or not. A lot of times we add mushrooms and onions to almost anything because, of course, onions are the magical ingredient, and really mushrooms and garlic are not far behind that. Okay, so I've loosely chopped up my mushrooms, which I'm going to add in right now. Here we go. The 2 mushrooms are in here. I'm going to saute those up a little bit more before I add the rest of my ingredients. Once everything is in the pan and cooked, what is going to happen, you might ask, is that we're going to do some mashing. Now, I have tried mashing with a masher, but it is very thick. So what I have discovered is if I use my immersion blender, and if you don't have an immersion blender, I highly recommend. Look, and then you immersion it up. Immersion blenders are amazing. If you can use it for anything. It is like a no fuss, no muss. The bottom comes right out to wash, like you're not even washing this whole thing. Ugh. Ugh. See, that comes right off. So that's awesome. So I'm just cooking up my mushrooms right now. Got that at a medium-high heat. Kim, I'm going to come over and see what you were talking about. If I can find my glasses to read my comments again. That's going to be a real pain in the ass. So I'm going to have to figure out a way, not to lose my glasses, but B, to see my comments. Oh, yes, yes. Oh, right. You're not saying anything. All right. It's interesting how things disappear. Once upon a time, I'll tell you a little coping tool. I mean, if you've been following me, you know one of my coping tools. But once upon a time, I would start to get really angry at myself for losing my glasses. No, they're not on my head. And my inner dialogue, and tell me if your inner dialogue does this too. Oh my God, you're so stupid. Like, where the hell would you put your glasses? You just had your glasses. You're such an idiot. Like, you had them like 5 minutes ago, and now you don't have them. You're such a loser. Like, you do this all the time. You put stuff down, and then you can't find it, and you walk around the house like an idiot. Sound familiar? Mm-hmm. That's that little, that's that verbal abuser in your head. Can you imagine saying that to, say, your son or your daughter or your partner or your best friend? I can't find my keys. Give me a second. Oh my God, you're such an idiot. Oh my God, you're a loser. Like, you do this all the time. I could not imagine. Nope, I didn't even put them in my case. Not that important. But I could not imagine saying that to friends. Okay. So there is the mushroom. So a note to self, start singing. I've lost my glasses. I've misplaced my glasses. I don't know where my glasses are. So I'm going to just continue my cooking show. I'm just going to add more ingredients. Grated carrots are going in. And I'm going to subtly look for my glasses as I host my little show. See, that's taken, that's singing will diffuse anything nasty you're trying to say to yourself. Honestly, just start singing to yourself. So I've added the carrot. I'm going to add everything else, and I'm going to jack up my heat just a little bit, because as I'm adding things to the fry pan, it's cooling down. But not only is it cooling down, but there's some steam coming up from the pan. And one of the things you want, oh, that's not what I wanted. One of the things you want to watch out for, of course, is adding so much stuff to the pan that it ends up getting steamed and not really fried. That's why a lot of times you need to batch cook your stuff. Like if you've got to, cook back in the day, you've got to cook some tofu or more so ground meat, steak. Make sure they have ample room in the pan. All right, I'm adding everything else. There goes my lentil kidney bean combo is in here, right here. I am also going to add my nutritional yeast. Now, if you have not played around with nutritional yeast, I am telling you, it is a must. It is a great substitute if you're vegan, a great substitute for Parmesan cheese. I'm going to put about 4 tablespoons in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, love it. 3 and 4. Again, loosely based on taste. I love nutritional yeast, so I'm going to do it. I'm also going to put in some Tamari sauce, some gluten-free Tamari sauce is going in here, and I'm going to again stir it up. You can see why I'm liking this, right? Like, this is all one pot, and again, there's not even a bowl involved. Oh, I had a bowl. I had a bowl for my lentils and my beans, but if you've got them in a can and you strain them out, you just put them right in the pan, Like, this is the thing. This is really a no fuss kind of meal. I don't have my regular salt and pepper, so I am going to be adding a little bit of salt from here. I have not tasted it, but remember, I've tasted it before. And I don't want to go too heavy on the salt because both the canned beans, of course, have sodium in them. So they have a lot of salt in them, and plus you can add salt individually afterwards. But a little bit of seasoning, salt and pepper, brings out the natural flavor of things. Herbs. Now, I just use general Italian herbs, but honestly, you can use whatever herbs combination you want. If you're a basil or oregano fan, a tarragon fan, I think I've got thyme in here. I've got oregano. What else have I got in here? Basil probably. Yeah, all that stuff. So here we go. Stir, stir, stir. And again, you can see that it just kind of almost looks like a lentil stew. And I would eat this like this. I really would. I'm just going to confer with my recipe address. Okay, so in go my nuts and seeds are going in next. Now I use, again, you can use any combo of nuts and seeds, making a full protein as well, I have to say. Another source of protein, you know, beans and lentils, legumes are have protein in them, but they don't complete the whole file of amino acids. The seeds and nuts that I put in here, the pumpkin seeds and the walnuts will do that. Plus, if I decide to serve this with a side of rice, although why would I at this point? There's enough carbs in here. And then, of course, the oatmeal. All right. What's going to happen next, you're going to ask? Well, I am going to tell you right now. So we have this in here. I'm gently stirring this. I turned up the heat. I am going to taste it before I put it into the oven, or before I put it into the, before I blend it up. And I can also taste it, of course, after I blend it up. I'm just going to grab a little tasting spoon. Again, talk amongst yourselves here. While I look for my glasses. Can't find my glasses. All right, I'm going to just have a little taste. That is so good. Now, as I said, you could mash, and you still want to leave lumps in here. And if you have a masher, but you're going to see pretty quick, it's going to take a while. So I immersion blend some of this enough so that I can get it into this pan. Okay, my friend, this is the fun and exciting part. And there goes my oven too, perfect timing. Okay, so I'm just going to take this, and as you can see, I'm just sectioning it a little bit here, a little bit there, because you still do like those little bits of chewy bits. We're not going to cook up dog food here. Not that it's dog food, but, you know, some people would say it looks like dog food. If you're a vegetarian for a long time, you know, people always make fun of how awful vegetarian food looks like. Well, they just need to taste some good food before they make judgments like that. That's what I say. Take your judgments. I don't think there's judgments really against vegetarianism in this day and age, is there? I don't. All right, so I'm not going to pick around with that too much. So you saw that I did about 3 or 4 blends with the immersion blender, and now it is a really good combo of a little bit of mashed and a little bit of, if I bring it up here so you can see it, you see that? A little bit of mashed and a little bit of, and you could just eat it like that again, but no, we're going to actually put it in the oven so that the flavors will really bind together. And you know, it does have if you don't like lentils, I'm going to say it, it's got a delicious taste. Lentils or no lentils, I love the taste. This is going to be quite the big loaf. Now, the only thing I didn't do, which I forgot, which I'm doing right now, is grease my pan. However, these are Graham's, forget what they are. They're like non-stick rubber pans, if you will. And they are, they're supposed to be non-stick. So here we go. And I like this because my loaf is getting a little fat as I continue to pile in. Oh, the goodness. And here is my loaf. Now, the other thing that I do is I do drizzle the top out. That's hot. That's a hot mixture. There we go. Look at this. Look at this loaf. Look at this loaf, everybody. Look at that. This is delicious. I was gone for 2 minutes. Oh, my goodness. I wonder why I was gone for 2 minutes. Oh, maybe that's a lot of time to be gone. So thank you for coming back. I was gone. Oopsie. I'll have to look at that in the replay. But thank you for letting me know, Kim. I thought I saw a flash, but I didn't know what was happening. So I am going to put a little bit of oil on here. I'm just going to drizzle a little bit of oil because the top will get a little crunchy. I've got a little pastry brush here. And there we go. Did that just flash again? I'm not sure. So this is my nut loaf, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to pull this aside. This is why I love this table, because look, it's on wheels. Look how nice and smooth that is. And we're going to pop this in the oven. Here we go. And it's going to go in there for about 30 minutes. and I'm not going to keep you here for 30 minutes. That's for dang sure. So 30 minutes goes on. That, my friends, is vegan nut loaf. No animal products, very versatile with flavors. You could make it almost a curry flavor. You could make it a Thai flavor. Hell, you could even add barbecue sauce in there and make it like a barbecue loaf. You really can do anything. That's the beauty of vegan loaves. And you can see how that would be appealing for others as well. And that's normally what we do when we take it for dinners. We'll take a little bit off for ourselves for our main course, and then we'll put the rest on the table for people to enjoy. So thank you for joining me today. I'm sorry if I was here and gone. Yeah, that's not good. I'll have to go back and look at the replay and see what happened. And I really thank you if you came back after I came back on. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. And my name has been Siobhan, and I will see you again soon tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. We've got laughter yoga. Woo, 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 woo. And Thursday is going to be Siobhan's Spark Up Checkup, where I come in and we just talk about whatever is going on in the world. Well, not really in the world. We don't make it that big because there's shit going on all over the world, which we cannot control, but we bring it into what we can control, which is really ourselves and how we are reacting to the shit that's going on in the world. Thank you very much for watching. If you're watching on the replay, thank you so much, and we will see you again. Kim, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.